right, today we're going to look at linear and nonlinear lines and increasing and decreasing sections of a graph. So some important things we need to know, and these are words you may already know. Linear means it's going to make a straight line. And if you'll look, the word line is part of linear. Nonlinear is not a straight line. It is not a line. Increasing is going to go up and decreasing is going to go down. So looking at these four graphs, you can see that they are all linear. They are all straight lines. These first three are functions, and I have that written for you. This one is not a function because it doesn't pass a vertical line test. The pink one is increasing, the blue is decreasing. Purple is horizontal, and orange is vertical. These first two are diagonal lines, and these next two, they do not increase and they do not decrease. Now, we're not always able to identify lines based on that. Sometimes we have to look at sections of graphs. So looking at this first one, you can tell it curves up from left to right. It is nonlinear because it is curved. It is a function, though. It passes a vertical line test. It is increasing from -3 to +3. That's what we can see on this graph. You would write that as -3 is less than x is less than 3 if you were trying to explain where it was increasing. Now, that one we were able to explain the whole graph at one time. That is not always the case. Sometimes we get graphs that have straight lines, curved pieces, and they go all kinds of different ways. So to be able to explain this graph, you would look at this one section at a time. Well, between -6 and -3, it is linear, and it is increasing. From -3 to -1, it is not linear because it has a curve to it, and it's decreasing because we're going from +1 to -3. From 1 to 3, it is increasing and it is linear. That is a straight line. And then from 3 through 6, because that's as far as my graph goes, we're linear again, but we're decreasing. So you would write those if it asked you where it was nonlinear and decreasing. Your answer would be -3 is less than x is less than -1. That means that our x, the number we're looking for, or the graph, is between -3 and -1. Now, along with that, we're going to talk briefly about horizontal and vertical lines. So y equals mx plus b is a formula that we'll talk about in a few days, but it is the formula that we use for straight diagonal lines. A horizontal line, we talked briefly about this last week, had zero slope. And the equation for that would be y equals something. So y equals -1 would be right here. And you would just go left to right because it is anywhere that y equals -1. It does not matter what your x value is. A vertical line is straight up and down. It has an undefined slope. So your x is going to be your number this time. So on my graph right here, if I go over to 3 and put a dot, and my equation is x equals 3, I'm going to draw a vertical line everywhere that x equals 3.